Carol Coben. Some of you may have seen me before. In this era of superheroes, I've given myself a new name. I am now Captain Shakes-a-Lot. Within a few minutes, you will have figured out what my superpower is. My left hand trembles. So I can't play poker anymore, because when I get excited, it trembles even more. No one will bet against me when I have a royal flush. But I can do other things with this superpower. I could be a bird caller, specializing in woodpeckers. I could do Morse code. No one will figure this out. I could work at a Christmas shop. Every morning I'd go in and shake the snow globes, make sure the snow still falls. I could be a bartender, specializing in James Bond martinis, shaken, not stirred. I could work in a morgue. Every morning I'd go in and shake all the bodies, make sure they're still dead. Let's talk about marriage. Anybody in this crowd married? Yeah. A few enthusiastic married couples. I've been married 49 years. Woo! Thank you. Thank you. So you would think, I would have thought, that there'd be road signs along the way when you're dating somebody to find out if it's serious or not. I was clueless, so I didn't there were road signs, I just didn't recognize them. So let me go back now in time and share a few of those road signs with you. Mom, car, and engagement. So Mom, the first clue is, if you start thinking about meeting his mom, you are serious. When I met my then boyfriend, his name was Dave. We were at Michigan State. But all of his friends called him Georgia, because when he went to school, he was from Georgia, he had a southern accent, so they all called him Georgia. And I'm thinking to myself, I am not going to call this guy Georgia in front of his mom. So obviously, that was a clue. I was already thinking about meeting his mom. As it happened, he was called Dave in the Midwest, because that's an affectionate way of calling people David in the Midwest. But in the South, he was, and by all of his family, is called David. I couldn't get that straight. I couldn't figure out which name I should be calling him because I didn't want to change it depending on whether we're in the Midwest or in the South or around his family or around strangers. So I didn't call him anything. In fact, he started singing that old country song, "You Don't Even Call Me By My Name." Sure I do. His name is Deer. So car. You will know in a relationship is getting serious if the guy brings you along on milestone activities. Now, since my husband was getting ready to graduate and he'd gotten a new job at IBM, he needed a car. So he took me with him when he bought his car. 1967 sand-colored VW Bug. It was beautiful. However, he didn't teach me how to drive it. Now I already knew how to drive a stick shift because I'd driven my brother's car when I was in high school. He had a stick shift. However, he had a TR3. In order to put a TR3 in reverse, you pull the stick up and put it into reverse. It's the opposite for a VW Bug, which I found out when I drove him to get his draft physical here in DC. He called me up and said, okay, come back and pick me up. I tried to back out of the parking lot and I could not get that car into reverse. I ended up picking up the front end of the car and slinging it around in order to wrestle it out of the parking lot. Wow. I got lost a few times on the way to picking him up. When I finally got to see him, he was talking to a motorcycle cop, trying to find out if there had been any accidents in DC involving a VW Bug. He saw me coming into view and he said, never mind, here she is. And then I learned how to, and then he told me how to put it into reverse. So the third clue is engagement. The clue is, if a guy starts talking about marriage logistics, he is serious. Now, I didn't know this. Turns out my husband had been having the draft hang over his head ever since he graduated. So he started thinking about logistics for how we could or couldn't get married. But he was having this conversation in his head, not with me. So one weekend, I came to visit him here in DC, and he said, so what do you think about long engagements? Since I had not been having this conversation with him or in my head, our memories differ at this point. My memory is that I said, don't start this conversation unless you're serious, because I knew I'd get all excited. His memory is that I said, don't start this conversation because the answer will be no. As it happened, he got drafted. A month later, I got pregnant. So we had 5 days to get married. A few years later, I was telling this story in front of my family, and my son says to me, Mom, guys do not have casual conversations about marriage. Where were you when I needed you? January 24th, 1968, we got married. We're just about to celebrate our 50th anniversary.
Wow.
Thank you very much. I've written a book, Who Gets to Name Grandma? It's available at Amazon, of course. It's available at Prospero's around the corner. You can find me on Facebook, on YouTube. My name is Carol Coven, C-O-V as in victory, I-N. Thank you very much.